Hello, good afternoon and welcome along to live commentary, the Clarets Match live. Burnley take on Leicester City from the King Power Stadium, and I've got to tell you, I'll give you the two lineups in just a second, but I think this will be a real interesting game of football. This will be Burnley's toughest test. If you saw the video about 10 minutes ago, my Facebook preview, anybody who's maybe tuning in as me on Facebook, you'll find that this is probably going to be the trickiest away assignment, the Clarets, because this really will be a really difficult afternoon. But I should give you the two teams in just a moment or two. It's a great atmosphere around the ground. It always is on at the King Power, I have to tell you. So let's give you the two lineups. We're just waiting to start the match. The teams I think are just coming out now at the King Power. So let me give you the two lineups then for this match this afternoon. Obviously we'll be keeping you alongside all the other games as it happens. There's Brighton versus Liverpool, Everton against Huddersfield, that's a big one, that one. Leicester Burnley, of course, our featured match. Watford against Tottenham, West Brom take on Crystal Palace, and then of course at 5:30 Arsenal Man United. But anyway, let's look at the two teams. Let's go through it now in more detail. With Leicester City, with Kasper Schmeichel in goal, then it's Danny Simpson, Wes Morgan, Harry Maguire and Ben Chilwell the back four. Then it's Mark Albrighton, Ndidi, Bora and Gray, who is a really, on his day, is a really unplayable sort of player, and Riyad Mahrez with Jamie Vardy up front. On the substitutes bench, you've got Iheanacho, Andy King, Ben Hamer, Dragovic, Shinji Ogazaki, Leonardo Ugella and Christian Fuchs. As for Burnley, you've got Nick Pope in goal. Then it's Phil Bardsley, James Tarkowski, Ben Mee and Stephen Ward as the back four. Obviously Matt Lawton isn't back yet from his little niggling injury, so he's not what you call Dyche bit. Johan Gudmundsson, Stephen Defoe, Jack Cork, who's actually one yellow card away from picking up a one-match ban through 5 yellow cards. Robbie Brady and Jeff Henrick are the midfield five. Chris Wood gets the vote up front, ahead of Vokes and Barnes, who actually start on the bench alongside Charlie Taylor, Ashley Westwood, Lindegaard, Kevin Long and Scott Arfield. The referee today is Paul Tierney, so we'll be interested to see how this will absolutely go here this afternoon. We're just seconds away from the kick-off at the KP. And it should be an interesting sort of game as we await the two teams now to come out and start. Always difficult with these live streams, of course. We've been well prepared for this all day, and let's hope this is not going to break down on us again like last week. Oh my giddy aunt, that was a tough one last week, and unfortunately with the streamers, well, we've lost touch with that, and it's so frustrating really. These live commentaries are getting really more tougher to do as each week goes by, because I don't know what's actually gone wrong. But we are back. I think we are back online now. I think we're live. But I can tell you that this will be a tough. As I said to you before, this will be a tough test of Burnley's credentials. I appreciate that they've taken great results from Chelsea and everyone else before that, and that's always a great fillet for them. But well, we're not actually looking at that game at the moment. It's not the well. It's 0-0 in the game that's going on between Brighton and Liverpool. I can tell you that all the games I think in progress are 0-0 at the moment. It's such a real frustration at the moment because we need to get these games. We need to get the right game on at the moment, and at the moment we're not getting the. We're getting the right game on at the moment. We're still waiting for any news. We've absolutely lost. We've absolutely lost the footage at the moment. We've lost everything at the moment. It's a real stumbling block. These live commentaries, they don't half mess you about. I think it'd have been cheaper to do a delayed commentary, really, but we want to get as many live games as we possibly can this season, and at the moment we're not being allowed to. Hopefully we'll be able to get the game going, but I can tell you now that Burnley will be underdogs. There's no doubt about that. Well, they want it, but they want it Brighton against all the odds there. If we can do the same again today, that would be an amazing result for them. Started the day in 6th place, so they'll top them if things don't go Burnley's way. Burnley could be leapfrogged themselves by Tottenham in the table as things stand. So 0-0, as I believe, is a current score. I've got to tell you, it is a very cold afternoon down at the KP, and we've just got absolutely nothing on at the moment. It's just, this is the problem really when you're streaming or broadcasting at the moment. It's so frustrating, and you want to make sure that you've got some element of a game going on here for me to commentate on, and that's just a frustration. I just want to see some action, and we can get on with the commentary. I've brought you the team news and everything. I'm just trying to fill in and try and find out what is actually going on at the moment, and it's not easy to fathom out what is actually going on at the moment. Hopefully we'll get some commentary for you. I'm really sorry, but it's out of our hands at the moment, but I've brought you everything else, and yet we haven't had a chance to bring you anything as far as the commentary or any action is concerned, and it's always a frustration when you're trying to do these commentaries. You're in the mercy of the technology and everything else, and it's such a frustration. So in the meantime, we're just going to have to busk it for a little bit and find out what's how things are going at the moment. What I can tell you, I think it is 0-0 as things stand, but we will be busking it for a little bit because it's such a frustration when this obviously happens, and I think we've got some action now. 0-0, and we are, I think, about five or 6 minutes in as that ball comes in. So we are back. We have some action now for you from the King Power Stadium. So 0-0 at the moment. So we are commentating now live with the game, and At long last, some match footage to go off, and that is a real plus. And it's Mahrez on the far side for Leicester, turning it in there, and it's been forced in, and an early goal for Leicester. Gray has been injured, and it's not a good start for the Clarets. Demarai Gray coming in at the back post, and Leicester City have taken the lead at the KP, and this is not a good start for the Clarets. It could well be a long afternoon for them, I have to be honest. Crossing from the brilliant Mahrez. I think Pope half stops it there. I think they were appealing for offside. Well, I'm not sure whether it was or not. I'd have to see it from the 18-yard camera to get a fair view of it. I'm not sure whether he was offside or not, but Demarai Gray has certainly hurt himself. But it was a lovely cross here from Mahrez, a lovely teasing ball in, and Pope did actually well to actually get a hand on that. But Gray's come in and he's hurt himself, and there could be a considerable concern here around the KP. Just joined the game just in the nick of time for at least a goal, but it's not the goal that every Burnley fan wanted to see right now. And it's not a good start really. But I'm pleased to report, if any Leicester fans are looking in, that Demarai Gray rather is okay. But this was another incident involving Wes Morgan. Oh, I tell you what, I've looked at that, and I think there's a possible penalty in there. Chris Wood tangles with the ball and then comes to Brady, and it's a high tackle. I think that's a penalty to Burnley there at the upper end. I think this is before the goal happened. And that's what you didn't see at the start, I'm afraid. So maybe Burnley could have had a penalty. But anyway, Demarai Gray back on. And Leicester 1-0 ahead at the KP. It could be a long afternoon, really. I said at the start, Demarai Gray on his day is a very dangerous customer, and has sort of proved that theory. Here's Cork now for Burnley. 1-0 down, remember. Remember, this game being played away from home. I think Burnley are not under that great much pressure because they've got 25 points, and I think if you'd have asked any Claret, myself included, would you have loved 25 points at this stage? A long ball came in looking for us, Chris Wood couldn't get on the end of it. I think if you'd have asked any self-confessed Claret, myself included I suppose, would you be happy with 25 points at this stage? I think everyone in his dogged supporter that has got a Burnley persuasion, I think would have bitten your hand off really for that. So I think even if we lose today, it's not the end of the world as far as the season is concerned. It's certainly not. Schmeichel's kick that kept in there on the near side. I think they'll miss the industry a lot, and I know Bardsley did a very good job. Leicester get the throw taken quickly. I'm surprised the referee allowed that to be taken quickly, I have to say. Gray keeping his footing well, but the ball falling nicely for Henrik now just inside his own half. Burnley 1-0 down, but as we've seen many times before this season, Burnley are comeback kings. Remember that the game at Wembley when they played Tottenham and came back to get a priceless point at Wembley. Well, it's not beyond the realms of possibility, so let's keep the positivity flowing. 9 minutes gone then at the King Power. Here's Stephen Ward down the left hand side, away from Mahrez, but Mahrez tracks back and Burnley yield the corner. Yeah, Mahrez doing some good defensive work there. Stephen Ward is a very tricky little customer when he's on the ball. It's very hard to get him off the ball, but he knew that Mahrez could deflect it out, so he did well there, Ward, to actually yield the corner from that. And it's Robbie Brady to take. The foe is offering support, although Mahrez is close by to him on the left hand side. Brady just on the ball on the corner quadrant. That's going to be Schmeichel. Oh, he mispunched it and it's just gone wide. I think it was Ben Mee at the back post. Kasper Schmeichel, that was poor goalkeeping from him. Brady with a teasing corner, and I expected Schmeichel to get something on it, and he didn't. He got nowhere near it, and in the end, Ben Mee, I think the angle was probably too acute for Ben Mee to not into the back of the net, but on another day, that could fly in, and he was probably too closer to goal than what he was, to be fair. But positive signs there for Burnley, despite the fact that we are a goal down. We do come back well in games, Remember, we won at Chelsea, we drew at Liverpool, we drew at Tottenham, we beat Southampton, we beat Bournemouth, and of course we beat Everton with that terrific 23 pass move at Goodison Park. Signalled the beginning of the end of Ronald Koeman's time as manager. Still 1-0 as Vardy now takes possession now for Leicester. Mahrez on the right hand side. Vardy bursting a gut to get into the centre. Ball back in there, bent away by Ben Mee. Burnley, of course, a goal down. A goal after 7 minutes from Damari Gray, the former Birmingham City youngster. He was a really good player, and I think he'll be an England international of the future. I have no doubts about that. As Schmeichel kicks away for Leicester, but it's well hounded out by Brady. And Henrik holds it up well for his Defoe in, and now a chance here for Brady now to measure up a good cross in towards the 6-yard area, and I think Gudmundsson was coming in at the far post, and in the end, if it had been someone a little bit more taller than the Iceland man, I think that might have just been 1-1, because this was a lovely cross here for Robbie Brady, measured to perfection, and it just needed a little bit more of a braver header, a braver attempt. Nothing wrong with Gudmundsson. I just think he needed to be a little bit taller there, and I think he might have got an opportunity there. But it's still 1-0 to Leicester as Wood tries to get that ball under control on the edge of the area, hooked away. Referee having a close look at things there. There was a Burnley player going over the top of a Leicester player, low crossing towards the penalty area. Wood tries to take it, but he lost it, and then it's cleared away by Danny Simpson, and Burnley almost in there for the equaliser. They've fought back very well to go with a goal down here at the KP Stadium. There's the ball in. It was a poor ball back. Schmeichel obviously couldn't pick that up. And in the end, Danny Simpson rescued Leicester then. And that could have been catastrophic for them. Chris Wood, who scored on Wednesday against Bournemouth, almost scoring twice in a week. Here's Brady with the corner in towards the 6-yard box. The ball was just about on the quadrant, by the way, as he took it. He came off a Burnley player last, and a little bit of a respite there for Leicester City. They might be one up, but the lead is quite precarious. As the ball comes in here, look, there's a little bit of a chest there, which makes it that little bit more difficult. I think the chest was a little bit heavy there. Leicester was certainly claiming handball. It certainly was, and it did definitely come off the chest. I think the referee was right to wave that one out. Of course, we'll be with you until about 5 o'clock this afternoon, so we won't have a chance to go through the full classifiers as we would normally do on a Saturday afternoon. But we'll keep you. Let's just catch up with all the latest happenings in the Premier League and a couple of FA Cup games as well. We'll bring you up to date with the FA Cup half times as well. And of course we'll have the third round draw. England have been also in the World Cup, have been paired with drawn against Tunisia, Panama and Belgium. A very good draw for England. So at the moment it's Brighton 0, Liverpool 0, Everton 0, Huddersfield 0, 1-0 in the Leicester Burnley game to Leicester. Okay, there's a game we're watching. Stoke 0, Swansea 1, Watford 1, Tottenham 0. So that could be an interesting result there. West Brom 0, Crystal Palace 0, and of course earlier today Chelsea 3, Newcastle 1. Back here at the KP, it's Jeff Emrick on the chase, and Chilwell in now, Maguire rather, with a very robust challenge. It will be a corner to Burnley. We played 15 minutes here, so some real shockers there. Spurs losing there, and Swansea winning away from home. Some real coupon busters there. Burnley's third corner of the game. And the previous two, of course, one or two problems in that Leicester rearguard. Brady's going to take the corner. Takes the corners, incidentally, for those who don't follow Burnley that well, or in commentaries and the like. He Takes the corners from both sides, and here he is, whips it in towards the 6-yard area. Header one and wide. It was Tarkowski still looking for his first Burnley goal, and he can't have come much closer. Free header, 6 yards out, dead central, well, just to the right of central, and not far wide. Burnley now asking Leicester quite a lot of questions here. Just needed a much better contact. It wasn't a good contact on a header, in fairness, when you looked at it from behind the goal. But it was a chance, and it was a 3-header. So Leicester really on tender looks here. Claude Puel's team at the moment looking like second raters against this Clarets side, but they are one up. And here they go again, Burnley. It's constant wave after wave of Burnley attack. Leicester just can't get out their own half. It's just, that's how slender the lead Leicester have is. And in fact, Burnley have won themselves a 3 kick midway inside the Leicester half. Sean Dyche will be absolutely, well, apart from the goal, he'll be pleased with how Burnley have gone about this game today. But he'll be pleased with the reaction of the troops. I have to say, Brady, who's whipped some beautiful free kicks and set pieces in so far, could well whip another one into the mixer once again. Could it be an equalising goal for Burnley? Well, if it was to be the case, wow. And we've lost again. Apologies again. We've lost vision again. So we'll have to get that back. If we've missed the goal, I do apologise. But we will endeavour to get the footage back as soon as we can. But we'll find out if it has. Oh dear me, we're making a little bit of a pig's ear of this broadcast this afternoon. It's not turning out to be Burnley's afternoon, and it's certainly not turning out to be my afternoon as a commentator. Not my finest hour. But it is 1-0 to Leicester, last we know. Elsewhere, I'll just bring you the other scores. Stoke 0, Swansea 0. Mark Hughes under a lot of pressure there. Chelsea won 3-0 against 3-1 against Newcastle. That's not going to get any easier for Newcastle at the moment. Leicester led for a 7-minute goal from Damari Gray. Burnley have bounced back well with James Tarkowski with the latest opportunity going wide of the post. In fact, the free kick came to nothing in the end. And in fact, there was a little bit of pushing and shoving from the corner, which was headed over. So there's another probably controversial refereeing decision maybe against Burnley again. Obviously, we've just seen a replay of Ben Mee. Well, what more can we say about refereeing at the moment? It's a sore subject with a lot of Burnley fans. I know Roger East has had a terrific game at Bournemouth in the week, but at the moment it's not going the way of the Clarets once again. I think one or two of the refereeing decisions have been a little bit substandard, if you ask me. And questions need to be asked, I think, of how the referees are promoted in and amongst it all. But it's a grey area as far as I'm concerned. Still Leicester 1, Burnley 0, by the way. Ball in towards Mahrez, but it's taken away again. Now a chance for Burnley to break again on the counter attack with Robbie Brady once again. Brady offering a good overlap here, but Brady decided to knock it in towards the penalty area. Still might come out there. Shot coming in, and well saved at the near post by Kasper Schmeichel. Johanberg Gudmundsson smashed that well on his left foot, just to the right of centre. Nice little dink cross there by Robbie Brady. Then Wood flicked it back. Chris Wood, of course, against his old club. He'd love to score against his old employers, by the way, Chrissy Wood. Yes, Ndidi now in the centre for Leicester City in blue shirts, I should tell you. Burnley in the all white kit, which they won very well at Chelsea in. One ball forward, header back by Bardsley to Nick Pope, who got Burnley's Player of the Month, the Defabet Player of the Month, as announced on the Clarets Player and their Turf Board programme. If you're a subscriber to Clarets Player, give that a watch. They've got the latest episodes, got Jack Cork and Martin Dobson, one of the great Burnley players of the late 60s and early 70s. Left to fund the Bond Lord stand, of course, the 300,000. It's the cross comes in towards Gunmanson, and it's charged down, and then the ball played back, and now opportunity here, Knox, and the shot over the top from Robbie Brady. It's a goal kick to Leicester. Nearly 21 minutes gone in the first half, and it's still Leicester 1, Burnley 0. Elsewhere, we'll just keep on checking. We'll of course also keep you up to date with all the FA Cup action as well. 0-0 between Brighton and Liverpool, 0-0 between Everton and Huddersfield, 1-0 here in the game we're watching. Stoke 0, Swansea 1, Watford 1, Tottenham 0, West Brom Palace 0-0. And we'll check on some FA Cup scores as well for you, because it's the second round day to this weekend. Wigan and Fyle played out a 1-1 draw last night. Earlier today, Notts County beat Oxford City by 3-2 at Meadow Lane. Bradford Plymouth 0-0. Fleetwood Hereford 0-0. Forest Green Exeter 0-0 as well. We'll start our commentary coverage in the third round, and of course with the third round draw, Forest Green Exeter 0-0, Gillingham 1, Carlisle 1, MK Dons 0, Maidstone 0, Port Vale 0, Yeovil 0, Shrewsbury 0, Morecambe 0, and Stevenage 1, Swindon Town 0. And that is all your FA Cup. We'll keep you very much up to date with all the FA Cup scores as they come in. Here's Robbie Brady now, in towards Gunmanson. Gunmanson back to Robbie Brady once again. Midway inside the Leicester half. Brady having plenty to say for himself. Ball out towards the far side. Now can Gunmanson measure a good cross. Headed away by Ndidi onto the roof of the Leicester net. It will be a corner to Burnley. In fact, Wes Morgan deflected it. No, it wasn't. It was Ndidi. It looked as if for the first moment or two it was panning towards Wes Morgan. And then Ndidi. It did come off Ndidi last, so I was right the first time. Robbie Brady then to take another corner. Puts the ball just on the edge of the quadrant. It looks on television, it looks as if it's not on the quadrant, but I can assure you it is on the quadrant. Just as long as the ball's touching the line of the quadrant, you're okay. As that corner comes in towards the 6-yard box. Leicester did well there that time to get it away. Now the ball breaks towards the right hand side, and Mahrez to lead the attack. And now here's a chance for Albrighton, the former Villa man, to measure the ball towards the far side. Amari Gray's lurking, but so too was James Tarkowski. No, it wasn't. It was Johanberg Gunmanson. I beg your pardon. Halfway through the first half, Leicester get a throw actually level with the Burnley penalty box. But they're leading 1-0 halfway through the first half. 23 minutes and 24 seconds have gone. So still a long way to go in this game. Leicester have yielded a corner at the other end. Damari Gray, the goal scorer. I said on his day he's an unplayable sort of player, and he's in very good form at the moment, and that's why he's been highly tipped to be an England player of the future. Came through the youth system at Birmingham City, just down the road from the KP. 25 miles or so down the road. Now they could do it in Birmingham at the wrong end of the championship table. As Albrighton, well, a bit of pushing and shoving, and maybe it's going to be Riyad Mahrez. It looked as if it was going to be Albrighton to take the corner originally, but it looks as if it's going to be Riyad Mahrez, I should say, this time as he knocks the ball in. No, it was Albrighton who took the corner. I think they were having a little bit of a conflab, and then the camera cut away to the jostling and pushing that was going on in the area. Ball back in again. Nick Pope there to intervene. Apart from the goal, he's had nothing else to do. This is Ward on the left hand side, still inside Burnley territory. Infield to Defoe. Defoe now looking for options. He's got Henrik up ahead of him, and Henrik was a little bit slow to react to the Defoe's ball. Probably didn't know a great deal about it, but Burnley keeping possession inside the centre circle. Still inside around half here with Phil Bardsley, the former Stoke man, and started his career, of course, at Manchester United. Plenty of Premier League experience, certainly from Phil Bardsley. Signing from Stoke, along with Joe Walters, who's actually is out through an injury at this moment in time. Brady again measuring a good cross in there towards the 6-yard box, and Chris Wood was well lurking there, and it needed a good bit of defending from Harry Maguire, who recently won an England cap, to get it away. But Robbie Brady again these balls that he's churning out, whether they're set plays or crosses into the penalty box, they are absolutely superb, and there's no two ways about it. They are good, bang on the money crosses, and that is an important thing. And here's Ben Mee now for Burnley. Well, to the four. Oh, that's a lovely ball out towards Barnsley on the far side. It was inch perfect, the ball. It was a lovely ball. Must have been about 50-60 yards. Gudmundsson now lays it infield. Wood with a flick on. Brady now in the edge of the box. Can Brady get it out from under his feet? Just couldn't do so. And what's happened here? I think the referee stopped it. Brady and... I can't tell. It's Maguire who's gone down. I don't know who's fouled who here. But Robbie Brady is in some discomfort. So too is Harry Maguire. I didn't see any signal towards the penalty spot from the referee. Brady's come off a little bit more worse. Maguire's up on his feet. Now I'd like to know what the referee would have given here. Well, let's have a look. Gudmundsson laying it in. Brady can't get it out from under his feet, and it's inside the box. This. Oh, actually, it's Brady on Maguire, I think, and that's why there was never going to be a penalty in the first place. Brady tricks Maguire there, and in the end he comes off worst. I think he might have landed on Brady as he fell. Maguire, so no blame attached to the Leicester City player whatsoever. And Chilwell having a confab with the referee as the players, it gives the players an opportune time to take a little bit of a breather. Well, that won't suit the Clarets too much, because they've been since the goal, they have actually been the team in the ascendancy, as we see that again. And actually, was good defending from Harry Maguire. This was the earlier cross from Brady. He's had a superb match so far, and that was Brady defending there from Maguire, because Chris Wood is a big, bulky fella, very physical presence about him, and he did reasonably well there. So I have to say, well done Harry Maguire, and obviously Brady is still in discomfort. Let's hope it's not... Well, it looks as if we're going to have a stretcher job here, I'm afraid, folks. And let's hope it's nothing too serious, because the last thing we need is... Well, that is a big blow for Burnley, if that is the case. Robbie Brady, and there comes the stretcher. I'm afraid to report. I just hope that this is a precautionary measure, and there's a brace around the leg of Brady. Oh my word, if this is a leg breaker, my word, we could be talking out months here. Months maybe, rather than weeks here. And Sean Dyche may well have to make changes here. Scott Arfield would be an obvious replacement, and he can fit into the role seamlessly, I should say, but he's not got the quality or the whip as Brady has had, and this is a key player now that's probably going to leave the pitch here, and it is going to be Scott Arfield. Well, this is a big blow for Burnley. 1-0 down, and the game's certainly in ascendancy, and Robbie Brady now, oh no, that's only missed the gas. Oh, the oxygen is out as well. I just hope this is precautionary. Brady being lifted onto the stretcher as I'm talking to you, and he looks in some agony, I can tell you. This does not look good for Robbie Brady or for Burnley, I've got to tell you. This is a real sad sickening moment, this, for the Clarets. There was an oxygen tank out there on the field as well, and he's getting a good round of applause. He did foul his man, but and he's applauding it as well. That's great. He's actually applauding. Let's hope that is a precautionary measure. We'll have to hear from Sean Dyche whether or not. I don't think the oxygen mask was needed in the end, but let's hope that's not too serious for Robbie Brady, and let's hope it's just a matter of sort of weeks rather than months, because really we don't need a player of Robbie Brady's calibre. And that's nice. That's a nice touch from Harry Maguire. That is sportsmanship to the last. Leicester City, applaud yourselves there, and Harry Maguire especially. Great sportsmanship. And it's very rare we see that in the game. Scott Arfield has come on, so the game can reconvene. So after about 4 or 5 minutes, we can restart with a goal free kick by Kasper Schmeichel. So we've had half an hour, but I think there will be at least 3 or 4 minutes for the Brady injury, and let's hope this is not going to be too bad of an injury. But Scott Arfield can do okay, but it's a corner. Well, it's a goal kick, I think. Well, I think it was. Well, I think the referee's given a corner, indeed. Oh, I thought it was a goal kick with Tarkowski's body language. But, well, there you go. Well, Brighton and Mahrez behind it on the far side, the corner. It's going to be the right foot in swinger from Old Brighton in towards the 6-yard box. So well claimed. Great handling here by Nicky Pope. He's had a superb run in the side, and he's had a superb run of form. And now it's up to Scott Arfield now. Can he affect things on the right as well as Brady did before Brady was stricken with injury? Let's hope that injury, by the way, isn't too serious. So whilst we have a break in play, let's go through, and it's given away. Let's just keep you up to date with what's happening in the FA Cup. Bradford 0, Plymouth 0, Fleetwood 0, Hereford 1. That's a big goal that for Hereford. Shock on at Highbury Stadium. Forest Green 1, Exeter 0. Deutsch with the goal there. Gillingham Carlisle 1-1. Maidstone winning at the Stadium MK against the MK Dons. Port Vale Yeovil 0-0. Shrewsbury Morecambe 0-0. But Stevenage Leeds winning by 2-0 in the other tie. And earlier today, Notts County won 3-2 in their earlier match. Well, last night, Fylde got a 1-1 draw against 2013 Cup winners Wigan. Ibarra couldn't keep that in play, and he takes out a blowout Rebelli throw 10 yards inside the Leicester half. Stephen Ward to take the throw. We'll keep you abreast of all the Premier League scores as soon as we get them at half time. But here it's 1-0 to Leicester, and Burnley have suffered a bit of a double whammy goal to Damari Gray after 7 minutes. They were well and truly in the game, and Robbie Brady played some of the best football I've seen play since he's come to Turf Moor, and he was in great form. He hit that second goal, superb goal against Bournemouth the other night on the south coast, and then obviously has got himself that injury. Now Stephen Ward ambling forward, and offside I think is the verdict from the near side linesman, on the far side linesman I should say. Well, I'm not sure. I think Chilwell's probably playing him on. I've got to say, I think the linesman may have missed a little trick there. I think Stephen Ward is a little bit unhappy with that decision. 1-0 to Leicester, but it's not an unassailable lead by any stretch of the imagination. Burnley have really actually played very well. Schmeichel takes the 3 kick, but they've lost a big player in Robbie Brady. But Scott Arfield is a man that can fit into any old situation. He can come up with a goal or two when he needs to be in crucial situations. I might knock the guy sometimes, but he's a terrific player in his own right, and there's no doubt at all that if given the chance, Arfield, I think he'll fit into it very seamlessly. (1-0). And this is not looking good at the moment, as Morgan comes forward for Leicester, plays it out to the left hand side, and here's right hand side I should say, and Riyad Mahrez, the number 26. Leicester had a terrific result in midweek here at the KP against Tottenham, winning 2-1, looking to make it 2 in a week for them, as Stanley Simpson goes forward, plays it to Mahrez on the right hand side, and then he has to go back to Ibarra, and then back to Wes Morgan, the Leicester City captain. So one of the team that's in that 11 today that won the Premier League title back in 2015-16. A marvellous achievement for them, and it's one that the Leicester fans will dine on for many, many years on. The unlikeliest of Premier League winners, but a pathfinder to any club like Leicester and Burnley to that extent. They've had a terrific start to the season, 25 points already from 14 games coming into this. It's a pathfinder to teams like Leicester and Burnley that smaller, so-called smaller teams outside the traditional big 5 or 6 can have success if they prepare to work hard and actually really go at it and not be afraid to take the big boys on and really go for it. And Leicester proved that season that they could, and maybe Sean Dyche should start offering pizza to his chaps because they've had a terrific start to the season. Okay, they're losing here, and of course that was that, and then was that horrible defeat. And by the way, folks, I haven't changed my stance on the refereeing that last Sunday. I still think Lee Mason was a cheat, but yet he's still getting referee gigs, and I think he should be suspended, I think, or demoted, I think, to a non-league game, because to be quite honest, he couldn't have been happy with that display last week. I really feel that way. Throw to Burnley. Still 1-0 to Leicester, and it's their form has really picked up since Puel's taken charge. They did lack a little bit of idea under Shakespeare, although I thought the Leicester hierarchy were a little bit quick to get rid of him because he is a top coach, and I'm surprised they actually sacked him full stop. I think they might have actually knocked him back to assistant, really, but there we go. Ball back in towards the 6-yard box, and again Wood winning the header. Another feature of Burnley's players. Chris Wood, the striker, is really winning a few headers here, and he won the latest one, again off target, but it's Goodmanson here with the cross, and he really measures this perfectly into the penalty area. Wood peels away from his marker, which was Wes Morgan, and over it went. But again, a lovely bit of supply from Johan Berg Goodmanson. I mean, we saw Brady, we said a lot about Brady before he got injured, his unfortunate injury, working miracles to get the ball into the box, but Johan Berg Goodmanson is doing just as well on the right hand side. We've not seen enough of Scott Arfield yet to warrant him being judged on at the moment, but at the moment Burnley still very much alive in this match, despite the fact that they'll trail to a Demarai Gray goal in 7 minutes. Here's Ben Mee, gets it over halfway, looking for Ward, who I think he's just beaten the offside trap, has he? No, he hasn't. Offside has been given by the linesman on the far side. 3 kick to Leicester City, 38 minutes of the game gone, and it's a lovely ball. Oh, I tell you what, I think he's onside. I think the linesman's got that one wrong, and of course the late flag is always a... Well, I don't think the linesman there is winning too many friends with Burnley fans. I think he's got a couple of decisions wrong, the linesman on the far side, I have to say. I thought in my own heart of hearts that Wood was actually level. Certainly behind one of the Leicester players as that ball was initially played over the top by Ben Mee. Still Leicester 0, Leicester 1, Burnley 0. As Arfield ambles forward, ball has actually been kept in play by Danny Simpson, but Scott Arfield tenaciously coming in there, and Burnley I think have won the throw-in, have they? Or has it gone the other way? No one quite knows who it is, and they sort it all out, and the referee decides it's a Leicester ball. 10 yards inside the Burnley half, 39 minutes gone. 1-0 Leicester City lead, that goal from Gray after 7 minutes. Here's Chilwell. That's a nice ball by Chilwell towards the far side. O'Brighton has kept that one going. Now a chance now for Demarai Gray, left hand side. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 Clarets back inside the penalty area, and they're outnumbering the 4 Leicester City attackers inside the area. It comes to Mahrez on the right hand side. Here's Riyad Mahrez into the penalty area, but it's well cut out as Depor in gloves gets it away, and the long ball over the top looking towards Wood, but again Wes Morgan in there to win the next ball. Now in Bora looking to find Brighton, but now Cork in there to intercept, and now Arfield touching it on. Lovely football this with Burnley. Stephen Defoe now, Wood up ahead of him. Arfield is there too. It's got Arfield in towards the area. Arfield gets the shot in and deflects, and Schmeichel just about keeps it in play before the ball goes into touch, and now his throw out finds Mahrez on the right hand side. We went now into the last 5 minutes, probably a little bit more for stoppages, probably about 3 or 4 extra minutes to be added on for the unfortunate injury to poor old Robbie Brady. But nothing hasn't perturbed Burnley too much despite the injury. Ward goes down. I thought he was tugged there by Gray. Referee seems fit to let them go on. I don't think it was a throw to Leicester. I think that was more of a free kick to Burnley than a throw in to Leicester. I'm going to be totally honest. Leicester's just starting to get rid of... And I think Paul Tierney now has got to get a grip on this referee business. He's not had the best of first halves. Not as bad as Lee Mason was last week. I am sorry to harp on about him, but the way he refereed that match was a disgrace. And it needs to be mentioned, and I want to get it out there to people, that these referees, whether they like it or not, are not immune to criticism. They should be immune to... should not be... you know, they should be coming out into the press conferences afterwards and explaining why they've done a good job or a bad job at when they've refereed a match. Ball around the corner, and Leicester still keeping possession rather kindly at the moment, but losing out. Burnley getting possession, but again halfway line. Harry Maguire winning it on halfway. Finds Mahrez, feeds him in fact, and then the ball is spread out towards the near side of Danny Simpson. Simpson now, last 4 minutes of normal time at the end of the first half. And here's Simpson, in fact 3 minutes and 20 seconds I should say of the first half to go, normal time. And it's back with the goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel, and he's found Harry Maguire. Maguire gets it forward and it's cut out. Harfield will win the next ball. Cork is in there too. Here's Riyad Mahrez over halfway line through the centre of the field. He's got Vardy up ahead, but it's Riyad Mahrez now running at all comers. Gets his shot in, well palmed away by Nick Pope. Mahrez there, not seen much of him as an attacking force, but he got the ball on halfway, ran through the centre and got himself half a yard for the shot. It was straight down Pope's throat, but still it needed saving by the former Charlton keeper, who got possession of the ball now. To the free ball from the throw-in. It was a good save from Nick Pope. Very secure type of save that was from the former Charlton keeper. As the long ball comes in there towards Chris Wood, Morgan shepherds the ball out rather fairly. And that will be a goal kick to Leicester. 2 minutes and 10 to go of the first half. I think Claude Puel's team will be a little bit concerned that they haven't done much else since going a goal up. It's always a worry, I suppose, in that sort of sense that it's gone around that way, just to keep you, of course, across the FA Cup as well. This time we've got Bradford 0, Plymouth 0. Fleetwood have drawn level with Hereford. Forest Green still 1 up against Exeter. Gillingham and Carlisle now 1-1. Maidstone winning at the MK Dons. Port Vale 0, Yeovil 0. Not looking good for Morecambe, I'm afraid, at Shrewsbury. They're 2-0 down. But Swindon have fought back well at Stevenage. It's 2-2 there in that game as well. And Bradford have just taken the lead against Plymouth. Vince Allott has scored against the Pilgrims. Here come Leicester on the attack. Far side, and it's with Albrighton now on the far side for Leicester. Cuts inside Albrighton. Digs out a lovely ball to Danny Simpson on the right. Simpson going in there, but well played. Scott Arfield stood his ground tremendously well. The Canadian international, and did superbly well. 1 minute of 45 to go. But I think there'll be at least four minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half, purely and simply for that unfortunate injury to Robbie Brady. And everyone here on the channel and all the subscribers and listeners, I'm sure I'll say, in echoing what they think, by wishing him a very speedy recovery, because it didn't look good as he came off the stretcher. And now Phil Bardsley, I think, has winded himself as well. Been a battle of attrition out there. Ball towards Vardy, edge of the penalty area. That's a poor ball from Jamie Vardy. And here's Jack Cork to win it for the Clarets. Up towards Chris Wood. He's worked so hard. He's won quite a number of balls in the air. That's on another day would have led to a goal. Here's Mahrez towards the edge of the area. Turns, pirouettes nicely. Damari Gray now switches to the right. Hits the defender Ward. It will be a corner. On the right hand side. We're now into stoppage time, and there will be 4 minutes as I predicted, purely and simply just for the Robbie Brady injury. We'll take a 5-minute break after the whistle goes, and then to refresh and refuel if you like. It's a bitterly cold afternoon. You need hot substances in your body at the moment. As the corner comes in from Riyad Mahrez, right hand side. It's a deep corner towards the back post. Header won by I think it was Tarkowski on the far side. It was Tarkowski now trying to tussle there with the Leicester player. There's 2 Burnley players on the 1 Leicester player, and then there's a little bit of pushing and shoving going on. I think the referee's giving a corner. No, he's giving a free kick to Leicester. And Bora did do a little bit of pushing and shoving, which wasn't called for. You see again, it's Harry Maguire here, and it's Defoe and... Well, Maguire, I think, should have been penalised there for obstruction there, because he's not letting the defensive players try and tackle him. That's not within the spirit of the game as far as I'm concerned. We've had 1 minute to the 4. Leicester 1, Burnley 0 here at the KP. Goal after 7 minutes from Damari Gray. 4 or 5 Leicester blue shirts in the penalty area. 2-man Burnley wall. It's Mahrez to take in towards the 6-yard box beyond Morgan. I think that might run out of play. No, it'll be kept in there by Ndidi. Ndidi will measure across. That should be Nick Pope's, and he takes it under no great pressure, under no great challenges. Nobody was there to challenge him. No challenges there, and Burnley can get it clear. A little bit tentatively there, playing it out from the back. They almost made a hawk at the Clarets. We played the 2 minutes of the 4. 2 left to play. Up towards Chris Wood, but he can't be found. Ball into touch. It will be a goal kick to Leicester. Hasn't had much change out of his old club this afternoon. Although he has headed a few just off target or Kasper Schmeichel. So there's still plenty of positives for Ian Wallen and Sean Dyche to discuss at half time. Although they will not be pleased with the defending on the goal. Although Nick Pope liked a miracle to save from Riyad Mahrez's cross-cut shot. That's a poor kick out from Kasper Schmeichel, and he's got away with it because he's found Damari Gray, or almost found Jamie Vardy through the centre. That would have been a real turn up for the Bucks. Jamie Vardy has scored against Burnley before in a big game between these two at Turf Moor back in April 2015, when Matt Taylor missed a penalty at one end, and then Vardy scrambled in at the other end to break Burnley hearts, and that was probably the game that probably sealed Burnley's Premier League fate that season. I think that's I don't think that's a foul on Chilwell. I think Henrik slips there and Chilwell started in. I think the referee's probably got that wrong. Well, we're now into the last minute of normal time. Mahrez has gone short there, which is a bit of a surprise to Morgan on halfway, and Morgan's ball is actually quite measured towards the right hand side, and a little bit of hustling and bustling. That's been kept in with a good tackle there. Harry Maguire of all people. Came off in blast. I think it will be a goal kick to Burnley. Well, they certainly had a decent shout first half, Burnley, but it's not gone their way at all in the game. So it's always a frustration, I suppose, when these things obviously happen. I think that will be that for the first half, I would fancy. But Burnley have shown a lot of courage and a lot of fighting spirit, and have certainly done tremendously well. But we're going at half time now, 1-0 down, and that's the half time whistle. So the half time whistle has gone here at the King Power, and it's not looking very good for Burnley. 1 goal down. They played some good stuff as well, I should add, but it's just not been there. It's just not gone their way, I'm afraid. Robbie Brady was stretched off after 32 minutes with a serious injury. It was an injury to his left leg, which the left leg was certainly wrapped up in a leg brace. So, but let's hope that's a precautionary measure, and we'll try and get some news on that if we can in half time. But we're going to take a 5-minute break here at the King Power. Burnley are playing well, but they trail, and it's not good news, I'm afraid. It's Leicester City who are leading 1-0. We're going to take 5 minutes. Rejoin us for the second half in a couple of minutes' time. Bye for now. Shit, that wasn't meant to. Hello there everybody, welcome back. Sorry the break took a little bit longer, but we are back with you live for the second half, just to keep you abreast with all the other scores. Brighton 0, Liverpool 2, Everton 0, Huddersfield 0. Again, Leicester 1, Burnley 0. That's about to kick off. Stoke 2, Swansea 1. Stoke have turned it right around. Spurs are level with Watford, and West Brom Palace is 0-0 at the moment. All games now started to go into the second half. Ours has just kicked off, by the way. Burnley 1, Leicester 0. Burnley, were forced into that one enforced change when Robbie Brady injured himself after 32 minutes and had to be replaced by Scott Arfield as Demarai Gray comes in with the first cross into the penalty area, but was well plucked out by goalkeeper Nick Pope. I was just having a look as well to see if there was any other substitutions. I can't see any substitutions, but we will check for you. Remember, more commentaries on the JB Claret YouTube channel. No, Liverpool have just scored a third there against Brighton, so they're 3 up. Meanwhile, Leicester on the break, but Burnley deal with that one okay. But at the moment, it's not looking too good for the Clarets at the moment. They trail to a 7-minute goal from Demarai Gray, tapping in after Pope had saved the earlier effort from Riyad Mahrez. And then Robbie Brady, who was probably their best outlet for most of the first half, injured Burnley, injured himself after 32 minutes through a 50-50 challenge, which he did actually foul Harry Maguire, and he took about 4 minutes to get the braces on his leg and everything else, and it was a great bit of sportsmanship from Harry Maguire. Meanwhile, Demarai Gray comes forward, finds Riyad Mahrez on the right hand side. Leicester attacking the goal to our left, incidentally in blue shirts in the second half. The cross comes in, that should be Nick Pope's, and he takes it rather comfortably and successfully. Just to let you know if there's been any half-time substitutions. We're just keeping you abreast of what's going on elsewhere. The FA Cup, no further substitutions at the break as far as I can see, so it's as you were then as regards the substitutions. Just a one, of course, enforced for Burnley. Scott Arfield having to come on. Just lost sound there for a minute, but it was Mahrez again winning the corner for Leicester. We are back live with you now. Everton have just taken the lead against Huddersfield, 1-0 daylayed. Looks like Big Sam Allardyce is having a real effect in his first match in charge. Shot coming in from Chilwell with his left some goal just outside the D, and it's behind for a goal kick to Burnley. So 1-0 to Everton at Goodison Park. Brighton have pulled a goal back at the Amex. It's Brighton 1, Liverpool 3. Everton 1, Huddersfield 0. Leicester 1, Burnley 0. Stoke 2, Swansea 1. Watford 1, Tottenham 1. West Brom 0, Palace 0. Maidstone are still winning at the MK Dons in the second round of the FA Cup. Third round draw to come later this weekend, and we'll certainly have some kind of coverage for you on this YouTube channel. And our coverage of the FA Cup begins with the third round ties in January, and we'll pick a few out for you for us to cover over that particular weekend, as Burnley look to try and get back into this game with Phil Bardsley. And Stephen Defoe measures a long ball towards the far side, taken down by Gudmundsson by Emmerich, but he's offside according to the linesman there. We've had nearly 5 minutes of the second half, See if he was offside here. Yes, I think he was just off there. So a decent decision by the near side assistant. But at the moment, things are not going Burnley's way at the moment in time. 1-0. And really and truthfully, it's been a frustrating afternoon for Sean Dyche's men. They have created some great openings. Chris Wood in particular has done quite well in terms of really giving as good as he's got, as Chilwell keeps that ball in on the near side. I've got to be honest, I don't think Leicester have been merited a 1-goal lead. I think it should be an even game at the moment, but the old adage is that Burnley haven't been able to take their chances, and I think they've been weakened a little bit with Brady being stretchered off. Here's Mahrez on the far side for Leicester. Coming up towards 51 minutes gone. In comes Old Brighton on the far side. Pull back to Gray. Good tackle coming in there. No penalty at all. Gray was in a bit of a heat there. The ball's gone out for a goal kick. Or for a corner, I should say. But I think it was Barnsley who put the tackle in. I was initially thinking it was Tarkowski because he's that sort of character. But Riyad Mahrez here making the space, and then Old Brighton with a lovely low cross. It was beyond Vardy, and yes, I think Barnsley gets a foot in. Goodmanson gets it out. And then a shot there from... couldn't tell you who it was, but it was a great challenge there by Phil Bardsley. Nothing wrong with that at all. And Burnley still fighting hard to stay in this game. Mahrez with the corner far side towards the near post, headed out. I think it was Scott Arfield who got back there. Hooked away far up the field as we can. No Burnley player in the Leicester half, incidentally. Still 1-0 to Leicester. Damari Gray with the goal after 7 minutes. Out comes Nick Pope. Oh, collides with his defender there, which was Ben Mee. But Ben Mee's alright, gets up on his feet, and everything is okay in his world again. Due to appear on the famous BBC quiz, A Question of Sport, very soon. Ben Mee's filmed the episode for that, and that's another thing you'll see on Turf Ball on Clarets Player. $4.99 a month. You get all your commentaries and stuff, but you can get them for $3 here on the JB Claret YouTube channel, but some of them anyway. Plus Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup, and next year's World Cup as well. And we'll go through the draw for that in another day when we get more time, as Goodmanson threads it out to the far side. Now then, chance here for Goodmanson. He can hit them himself. He'll be playing for Iceland next year, and they reached the quarterfinals of the Euros. He's a former Charlton player as well. Arfield in to win that ball 35 yards from goal, but it just ricocheted quite nicely for Leicester in the end, and the long ball forward looking towards the dangerous Jamie Vardy, but well played James Tarkowski again. The guy, every time he pulls on a Burnley shirt, he is nothing but absolutely superlative. Nothing wrong at all. He's such a star, is Tarkowski. He really is. Amazing sort of player, and he really does the dirty stuff very, very well. He gets through a lot of the hard work that a lot of luxury players would not want to do. Goes in hard, goes in with the tackles. A really super asset to have in your team. Ball back with Kasper Schmeichel, incidentally. And well, I've got to tell you now, Burnley are not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. They've put up a brave fight today. It's always going to be difficult against the Leicester team, who with all due respect, were always going to be red hot favourites, as Henrik went in there, but it's gone behind. So 1-0 still to Leicester. Substitutes warming up for Burnley. Ashley Barnes and Sam Vokes, who have scored in recent weeks. Barnes against Swansea the other week, and the week before the international break, Vokes nodding the winner against Southampton at St Mary's. So plenty of Plenty of goals inside that Burnley front three. Ben Mee being told to go off by the referee, or is Ben Mee deciding to carry on? I think he is deciding to carry on, and the ball is given to Nick Pope. We've had 10 minutes of the second half and still 1-0 to Leicester. That goal from Damari Gray early on in the first half, that looks as if it could well decide things at the KP, but we've still got another 35 minutes to go, and a long ball forward and a chase on here for Mark Albrighton here, if he can keep that alive. Tackle flying in there by Phil Bardsley. Albrighton comes out in a bit of a heap. I think the referee's going to make a decision here. Yellow card for Phil Bardsley. I'd like to see that one again, actually. I'm not sure whether that was such a bad tackle. Long ball forward, there was a chase on here. Albrighton certainly has the legs on Phil Bardsley, there's no doubt about that. I think he just about hacks him down. I don't think it's a yellow card offence. I think the referee Tierney was a little bit harsh to give Bardsley the decision, but maybe my feelings on referee, maybe it was the right decision, but the way I'm feeling about referees at the moment, I cannot be sympathetic towards them right now, considering how cheated Burnley felt against Arsenal last week. Free kick Albrighton will take in towards the penalty area. Goalkeeper flapped at that a little bit, Pope, but he did enough. It's another corner to Leicester. Had to just get something on it, Pope. He flapped at it a little bit, I will say that. He didn't cover himself in much glory there, but he got away with it. That was the important thing. But it is another Leicester corner. 2016 champions looking for a second goal, which would sink the Clarets here. If Burnley were to lose, it would be only their third defeat this season, which is not a bad start really when you think about it. They're still Burnley anchored in that top 10, and now Jeff Henricks has been penalised. I don't know, Goodmanson Roberts been penalised. I don't know what he did wrong there. I just think the Leicester players are making a million, and that wasn't taken from the correct spot, and now it could be a second goal. It's kicked off the line. I tell you what, they would have been uproar if that had gone in. Bardsley got back in the nick of time to save it. The free kick was nowhere near taken from the correct spot, and Morris was allowed to take it. Ball in towards Vardy, and then I think Morgan went forward and tried to knock it in, and Bardsley got it off the line. Leicester now turning up the power. They've had a good spell in this second half, you can't deny them that. Here's Maguire on the near side. The New England cap plays that towards Albrighton. Burnley a little bit caught short then defensively, but again Tarkowski making sure that he's well positioned himself to get that ball away, looking for Chris Wood. Wood wins it, but he has to bash it out of play, I'm afraid, over on the far side. Vardy's not had a sniff all day. That was the first chance we've really seen him explode as an attacking force, Vardy. His wife, of course, Rebecca, is out in the jungle at the moment, and I'm a celebrity. Get me out of there. So he's left holding the fort here at home. I'm sure he'll be missing Rebecca, who herself, as she's proved in the jungle, is a very, very worthy adversary. She certainly doesn't suffer fools gladly, as we've all seen. Well, I'm sure Jamie Vardy has attained. Leicester 1, Burnley 0. Michael Appleton alongside Claude Puel on the Leicester City bench. And really, here's Cork. Burnley now still giving it a good goal. They're still very much alive in this game. They've played some very good stuff, but no reward is yet. Leicester, when the Ace are going 2 up on controversial circumstances, the free kick was certainly not taken from the correct position, and in the end it could have resulted in a second goal, but never mind. It's Jeff Henrick now measuring the ball in. It's a poor ball from his considerable standards. As I said at the outset in my Facebook preview, this was never going to be an easy ride for the Clarets this afternoon, and so it has proved, I have to say. But Burnley, as we found out against Tottenham, and us never out in a match until the last whistle, and as we've proved, as the shot comes in, it's straight, it's Casper Schmeichel, it's from Stephen Defoe on his right foot, and it was straight at the goalkeeper, in all fairness to him. As Burnley proved against Tottenham at Wembley, they were looking down and out at one point. Tom Heaton was making save after save after save, and then Chris Wood in the last 2 minutes got an equaliser of epic proportions, saved a point, and Burnley ended up with a precious point. Here's Stephen Defoe for Burnley. Still 1-0 they trail, but it's a slender 1-0 lead. This is Brady. Brady now, not Brady, sorry. Henrik, sorry. Brady's been stretched off. We've had an hour. Half an hour left to play here at the KP. Ball forward, but it's cut out quite well by Wes Morgan. Indeed, he gets it forward to Jamie Vardy. Vardy turns, pivots away from Stephen Defoe, finds Morris, the blonde mop on top of his head on the far side. The ball back towards Vardy, shoots, and it's blocked by Ben Mee inside the penalty area. It was a good shot by Vardy. I think that might have been going in if Ben Mee hadn't got his framing away, and here's a chance at the other end for Burnley. It's Jeff Henrik Gudmundsson through the centre, and in the end Kasper Schmeichel required to make the save and turning out for a Burnley corner. Oh my word. Well, you've got to say it was a lovely breakout here from Burnley through the middle. Definitely onside. Just doesn't have pace at Johan Gudmundsson, but still it's a good effort and a good save. Henrik playing the ball forward. Just gets away from Wesley Morgan there. Has to show a little bit of strength, and that's a big chance gone begging for Burnley. If it had been Chris Ward, it might have been a different tale. Burnley have still a chance to rectify the scores here from this corner. Floated into the mix. It's a good corner from Defoe. Into the penalty area. Nodded out. Arfield in there very strongly. There's a bit of barging and shoving going on. The referee says play on. Gudmundsson trying to get it out from under his speed, and in the end Chilwell can get it away for Leicester City. 1-0 ahead, but it's a precarious looking lead at the moment. Brighton, Chilwell making a good forward run. This could be problems. Vardy waits in the centre towards Jamie Vardy, who couldn't control it properly, and Burnley this time having to clear themselves. Here's Stephen Defoe to Gudmundsson, back to Defoe again. The game's starting to be a little bit stretched perhaps. Now a chance now for Harfield to take possession. Good game this now. And here's Defoe away from Mahrez. Deep inside Burnley territory, then Bardsley, nearly lost all momentum there. Now Gudmundsson up against Chilwell. Can he get the crossing? Chilwell blocks it, half blocks it, falls for it fell for Jack Cork, and it's a Leicester throw, and the momentum that Burnley did have has diminished somewhat there. Well, it's a great second half if you're a neutral. The game is still becoming a little bit stretched. It's starting to be played almost like an FA Cup tie, and last we knew Maidstone were winning at MK Dons in the FA Cup. What a shocker that could be. In fact, there's a couple of up and unders. As soon as the ball goes out of play, we'll keep you now up to date with what's happening elsewhere in the Premier League. Brighton 1, Liverpool 3, Everton 1, Huddersfield 0. Our game is Burnley losing 1-0 there here at Leicester. Stoke 2, Swansea 1, Watford 1, Tottenham 1, and West Brom 0, Crystal Palace 0. Still Maidstone lead the MK Dons in the FA Cup at the moment, so no change there. We will bring you whatever happens here. If the game finishes, we are off the air in about 25-30 minutes from now. So we'll be going off the air at about 5 o'clock today, as I am otherwise engaged after 5 with other things. But Burnley are so close. Johanberg Gudmundsson, their best opportunity has gone begging. So here's the free kick. Harry Maguire with the free kick for Leicester. There was a bit of an infringement there, which I didn't see because I was looking at the latest Premier League scores. But it looks as if it's going to be back-to-back wins for Everton. And we'll put David Wagner's team in a little bit of trouble here. A long ball forward from Brighton, and the goalkeeper did well actually. Let that one go despite Morris rushing through like Usain Bolt in the 100 metres. Ball forward from Brighton, but Nick Pope was confident enough that was going behind and just let the ball go out of play. Just too much on the through ball by Mark Albright, and it was a good idea. And he's back with Kasper Schmeichel, who made that save a few moments ago from Johan Gudmundsson. There's no doubt that Burnley will get chances. Here's Vardy on the shoulder of the last defender, and that was Tarkowski, but Tarkowski showed a lot of... Oh, and Tarkowski did well, got back well, got a foot in. Still Albrighton, the ex-Aston Villa man, who's really shown a clean pair of heels there, but not to deceive him. Defoe, he hasn't. It's a corner. And it's getting a good appreciation from the King Power crowd, the Leicester fans. Leicester City corner. 25 minutes left to play. Brighton with the corner, right footed in towards the 6-yard box, pushed it away by Pope, but only as far as Ndidi will strike it. Ndidi with the shot with his left foot, or right foot I should say. It's gone behind for a goal kick. A bit of respite there for Burnley. 65 minutes of the game gone, and Ashley Barnes is going to be the second Burnley alteration. Of course, the first one, of course, was enforced when Brady was injured. And Stephen Defoe, well, that's a very strange decision there. I thought Stephen Defoe was starting to make one or two things happen. I'm a bit surprised that Defoe has come off there. I would have taken Jeff Henrik off, but Barnes is there to upset people. Burnley have made their second change after 66 minutes. The other one coming on 32 in force when Robbie Brady had to go off. It's not really seen much of Scott Arfield as yet since he come on. He's been a little bit quiet, the Canadian international, but here he is now on the ball. But he's managed to help that on despite slipping. And here's a chance now for Burnley. Shot deflected. It nearly fell for Barnes. It might well fall for Barnes inside the area. Barnes trying to show, but there's an offside flag up on the near side. And Barnes has that rueful smile towards the linesman, but it is offside against Ashley Barnes. And Burnley denied again. As that ball is played through. In fact, there's two of them offside. Barnes was one was the other. Goal kick. Oh, free kick, sorry, to Leicester. Oh dear. It's a bitterly cold day in the East Midlands, in Leicestershire. Leicester City reached the Champions League quarter-finals last season before bowing out in a blaze of glory against Atletico Madrid, as Wes Morgan tries to get that forward. Former Nottingham Forest man Wes Morgan played most of his career in the Championship before he came up with Leicester City back in 2014. Sean Dyche there, a zip of the famous bottle of Burnley branded water. Got the club crest on the front, in a big puffer jacket which Arsene Wenger would be quite proud of, and his claret and blue Burnley tie. On ball forward, but he only finds Chilwell for Leicester. Now Harry Maguire. Maguire plays it out to the far side, and it's Danny Simpson now for Leicester City. Infield again to Damari Gray, whose goal looks as if it could well give Leicester the 3 points at the moment. This is Riyad Mahrez, who's had a good second half in fairness to him. Now Mahrez again, midway inside the half, the Burnley half, into Vardy, or Albrighton I should say. Vardy's still further forward and he's on the shoulder of the last defender. This is Chilwell. Chilwell now to Mahrez. Mahrez has got Albrighton on the near side. Albrighton now running at all comers. Still Mark Albrighton gets his shot in, and it's at the near post, and Nick Pope had to take no chances, had to palm that away. I don't think it was going in, but Nick Pope couldn't take that risk, and instead of risking it for a chocolate biscuit, just had to get across there and just prevent it from going in. But he did well there. Safety first keeping from Pope. I don't think it was going in, but he couldn't risk it, as I say, for a chocolate biscuit, and had to just divert it out for a Leicester City corner. 69 minutes gone, and it's Albrighton again with another corner. Can we go long or short? Mahrez is there as well. Burnley wising up to this. That's why they've gone long towards the far post again. Header one inside the penalty area, and this time Harry Maguire went in at the back post, but Pope there with a good over the top throw out. That's a very unorthodox shoulder throw out from a goalkeeper, but that was a good throw out from Nick Pope. And it's gave Burnley valuable yardage up the field, and they've got a throw out of it. So we're now coming up towards 70 minutes of terrific action here at the King Power Stadium. And a throw to Leicester. Well, I have to say, I felt it deflected off a Leicester player last. 10 attempts each on target, 3 for Burnley, 2 for Leicester, 1 really counting in the 7th minute for the Foxes. So it's been Burnley really who's had the better of the chances. And should be a little bit unfortunate not to be level in this stage of the game. Burnley look for a free kick, not given by Mr. Tierney, the referee, who's had I would say he's not had a bad game, but he's certainly been average at best. Not been his finest hour. Still Burnley keep possession inside that penalty area. Barnes wins it. An appeal for handball. I have to say, he looked a handball from my viewpoint. The referee wasn't moved, and this could be a controversial moment because Gray is at the other end. He's got Vardy and Morris in the centre. Ball deflected. Goalkeeper just about parried it to safety. Nick Pope did well there, backpedaling as that cross came in from Gray. But I've got to tell you, I thought I was handball at the other end. I think Burnley should have been entitled to appeal for a penalty. It looked handball from the surface, and I think Burnley should have a penalty. Nick Pope actually did very well. There was a deflection on the cross which made it very awkward for him. Burnley perhaps denied a penalty there. Oh, I'll tell you what, if that had gone in, there'd have been uproar here. Here's Ndidi into the penalty area. Gray with a shot off the post, off the far post, and it's bounced away. Oh, Burnley now on the real rack here. Cross comes in from O'Brien, deflects off Barnsley for a corner. Oh my goodness me, Damari Gray within an ace of making it 2-0. And I have to say, it was a good move this from Leicester. Ndidi twisting Ward inside and out. Gray totally unmarked by just to the right of the penalty spot. Beautiful right-footed daisy cutter and hits the bottom of the post, the far post, and bounces out. It is a corner though to Leicester. In it comes. That's an easy take for Nick Pope. Oh my word. I'll tell you what, folks. It's talking about tenderhooks. Leicester could have put the game out of sight. And in fact doesn't count as a shot on target, that effort from Greg, because it hit the post, so it wasn't strictly speaking on target. So could have been 2-0 to Leicester, but instead it still remains 1-0 to the Foxes, and Burnley still very much in control of an opportunity of getting a point. Goodmanson on the right hand side needs this cross to be a good one. Is it a good one? Schmeichel is under a lot of pressure. Barnes was there, and he appeals for a handball successfully. The Dane gets a free kick for his appealing. Again, another teasing cross from Goodmanson. Barnes certainly going in there. I think there was a shove, in fact, on Danny Simpson. I think that by Chris Wood. I think that was Schmeichel claiming rather than a handball there. Chris Wood, oh my goodness, I think that's another poor decision from Dyche. So no goal for him against his old club. Some hopes comes on, but I just think with the game in the ascendancy, I'd have been tempted to put the 3 of them on and go for Brock. I think Dyche has made a bit of a boob there. I would have actually took the ineffective Arfield off. I know he's come on as a substitute, and I know it's not nice to see a substituted, but I'd have took off Arfield. He's been far from effective since coming off for Robbie Brady, and I'd gone 3 up front. I really would. I'd have gone for Vokes. I'd have gone for Vokes, Barnes, and Wood, and that would have really ruffled it up. Here comes Burnley now, but again, indeed, he just mops up the danger. And Ward in to win the next one. It's out for a throw. They can't mess around here, Burnley. They've only got something like just over a quarter of an hour to go. They've got 16 minutes, but stoppage time. Oh, and they've messed around with it, and Vardy has fouled his man, in fact. And he's not happy about it, Vardy, but he definitely fouled Tarkowski for me. And Tarkowski saying to Jardy, I'll give you more there. It's almost like cricket sledging here. But Tarkowski, they just dawdled on the ball. And Vardy did trip his man, though, in fairness. But, my goodness me. Heart in the mouth, stop it at the other end. Oh, I don't know what happened there. They're switching to a replay and back, and I couldn't tell what was going on inside the Leicester box then. I wish our batch director would get it. Television director would get his technical team to get things right, because at the moment he's not giving me any real option here. But 74 minutes gone. It's Leicester City 1, Burnley 0. Oh, that's Pope stretched. Had to stretch a little bit. But Bardsley worked a miracle to keep that in. Plays a 1-2 with Court. Bardsley again. Away by Tarkowski. Court wins possession and then turns into trouble. And Ndidi, and there's a little bit of a wrestling match there. Cork's been penalised. Things just not going Burnley's way. And I'll tell you what, if he gets a yellow card, I think this is going to be harsh. Remember, he's on 4 yellow cards going into this. The last thing they want is another suspension to add to the Brady injury. Because when injuries and suspensions start mounting up, it does get really hard for teams. I don't mean there was anything sinister in it at all. But he hasn't got a yellow card, thankfully. But unfortunately, the free kick had to be given. And Leicester here, 1 up. Looking to go 2 up. O'Brighton and Mahrez, the two-man committee. O'Brighton floats that in. Leicester winning the first ball, but hooked away second time by a Burnley man. Chilwell heading it back in with compliments. Ball favours Wes Morgan of all people now, just drifting up on the left hand side. Now Gray inside the area. Damari Gray with the shot deflected. It's Riyad Mahrez now for Leicester. Good tackle again. That was really good tenacious play this time from Scott Arfield. Shown his defensive qualities more than he's shown his attacking prowess, I'm afraid, Scott Arfield. And we need him for his attacking prowess here. The Clarets Match live here on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Quarter of an hour left. Just under. Leicester 1, Burnley 0. Let me just keep you abreast in just a second of all the other Premier League scores. Maidstone, last we heard, were winning in the FA Cup. Our interest in that comes into the third round. Here's Albrighton through the centre for Leicester. And now Gray, the goal scorer, through again. And now Albrighton continues his run. Varney waits in the centre. And it's hooked behind for a corner by James Tarkowski. Well, that was a close run thing, and Leicester now starting to turn the screw a little bit on the Clarets. I think Varney might have been offside when the ball was played in initially. Good ball from Mahrez round the corner. O'Brighton showing his cost there. Why it was such a brilliant signing for Leicester initially when they won the league a couple of years ago. Corner comes in. Well taken there by Nick Pope inside a crowded penalty box. So while we've got a little bit of a respite in play, we have Lacazette actually starts for Manchester against Manchester United today. So it's Chelsea 3, Newcastle 1. That's the result. Brighton 1, Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 1, Everton 1, Huddersfield 0, Leicester 1, Burnley 0. The game we're watching. Stoke 2, Swansea 1, Watford 1, Tottenham 1, West Brom 0, Palace 0 is currently the scores as I've got them at the moment. As Damari Gray again shows why he's such a quality player for Leicester, and why he was a very snip of a price that Claudio Ranieri got him from Birmingham. Chilwell to take the throw. Out to play once again. "12 minutes left to play." It's Chilwell to take the throw for Leicester. It's a very slender lead given to them in the 7th minute from the former Birmingham starlet Damari Gray. And now the chase is on. Schmeichel will win the race. Kicks long, and that should go to the other goalkeeper, or was certainly, in fact, it's curled out of play for a throw in on the near side to the Clarets. So we've had 78 and 40 minutes, just over 78 and a half minutes. So that 7th minute goal looking as if we might win Leicester the game. So just to recap the scores, because there has been goals since then. Everton are 2 up against Huddersfield, but that's been the only change. Early today it was Chelsea 3, Newcastle 1, Brighton 1, Liverpool 3. That's currently going on. Leicester 1, Burnley 0, as you know. Stoke 2, Swansea 1, and Watford 1, Tottenham 0, and West Brom, Crystal Palace are still goalless, and Hereford are level at Fleetwood in the FA Cup at the moment. As Leicester now start coming forward, looking to try and make sure that they can just sort of run the clock down, if you like. I've got to tell you, it's Been a frustrating one for the Burnley to take if they do go on to lose. This is Vardy inside the area. Tarkowski again. That is first-rate defending. How he's not winning an England call-up with the form he's showing is a mystery. But it's still Leicester come forward, and it's in towards Vardy, and another magnificent intervention, this time on the line by Nick Pope to deny Jamie Vardy. I think the flag had gone up anyway. So whatever heroics Nick Pope pulled off there right on his goal line counted for nothing in the end. But my word, we've played 80 minutes. And Vardy was, I don't know, it was borderline offside. Linesman was very quick to put his flag up. Dangerous crossing there, I have to say, but Nick Pope did well there. Although it wouldn't have counted for much in the process. Free kick to Leicester, a little bit of a soft free kick for Burnley to concede. Sean Dyche absolutely furious with Paul Tierney's decision, and I've got a lot of sympathy with him. I don't think the referee's had his finest hour today. Not in the Lee Mason class of refereeing, I have to say, but some very, very debatable decisions. Should Burnley have had a penalty before Gray's goal? A lot of people will be asking. Be interested to see what Sean Dyche makes of things at full time, but I feel as if we've been shortchanged again on refereeing decisions once again, and I'm getting pig sick of talking about substandard refereeing now in these broadcasts. I'm so incensed that Burnley should have had a penalty early on. I've tried not to show it today, considering I was the fuse was lit after the Arsenal shenanigans when they practically cheated to win the game last week. And I make no shame of the fact that they did cheat, because the referee gave everything to them. Throw to the Leicester on the edge of the penalty area. At least we've had a bit of sportsmanship when Harry Maguire shook Robbie Brady's hand after he was sadly stretchered off. But Burnley have had chances to be on parity in this game. Claude Puel's side have not been at their fluent best like they were on Tuesday night against Tottenham. Burnley have had a good spell themselves. Johan Berg Gudmundsson came close. Here's a chance now for Leicester. Oh, and they just can't get it through to Vardy, and they tried a second time, and Tarkowski just says, "Thank you very much, I'll have that ball." And at the moment, I just honestly think Dyche has got it wrong tactically. I think he should have gone 3 up front and kept Wood on. I would have took Arfield off personally. Not a criticism of Scott Arfield. He's just simply been ineffective since he's come on to replace the stricken Brady. Still 1-0 to Leicester. Coming up towards 7 minutes from the end of the game. Here's Corkin inside the middle, inside the Leicester half. Crosses in from the right hand side. Looking towards Barnes that time, but he glossed out. Morgan just won the header against him. It's still a slender lead and a free kick given against Stephen Ward. Just a free kick. No yellow card. Thank God for that. Referee just keeping his cards in his pocket, Mr. Tierney. Has not had his best. Has not had his finest hour by far. We've had 83 minutes of the contest. We will be coming off air at around about just after 5 o'clock here on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Leicester City 1, Burnley 0 is currently the scorers. Schmeichel kicks long up towards the near side. It's a throw halfway inside the Burnley half to Burnley. Bardsley takes it. I think they've missed Matt Lawton a little bit today. I think Bardsley's been a little bit wanting on one-on-one situations. Burnley now gaining some good yardage, but know that time is not their friend. In fact, they've got a throw. Yes, I thought they were going to have a free kick there, but the referee said it was a throw. Well, I must admit I didn't see any fouls there. Right, here's Ben Mee now. Makes it long towards the penalty area. Barnes this time winning a header. Can't find Vokes. Burnley will keep possession here with Henrik. They need to start putting some balls into the Leicester box and start testing their back line. Can Bardsley do that with a tested cross? Schmeichel coming for it. He's flapped at that. He's got away with it, and it's out for a throw level with the Leicester penalty box. We're in for a finish here at the KP. Just to bring you abreast of the other scores: Brighton 1, Liverpool 4, Everton 2, Huddersfield 0, Stoke 2, Swansea 1, Watford and Tottenham 1-1, West Brom Palace 0-0. We're coming towards the end of the game here at the KP, and still it's Danny Simpson as well. There's a little bit of a delay because Simpson is down on his haunches, having collided with Kasper Schmeichel there, so he's been seen to for treatment. He's had a quiet second half by his own eye standards, Danny Simpson, so we could be adding on considerable amount of stoppage time at the end of the second half. And whilst we've got a break in play, we'll just try and keep you up to date with all the FA Cup scores as well. These are what we've got at the moment. Earlier today, Oxford City were beaten 3-2 at Notts County. Bradford 3, Plymouth 1, Fleetwood 1, Hereford 1, Forest Green 1, Exeter City 2 is what we've got at the moment. Gillingham 1, Carlisle 1. MK Dons now actually leading 3-1 against Maidstone. Port Vale leading Yeovil by a goal to 0. Shrewsbury 2, Morecambe 0, and Stephen is now 5-2 up against Swindon Town. Sounds like a very good cup tie down there in Sussex. 2 more games to come tomorrow in the FA Cup. Wimbledon against Charlton, Blackburn against Crewe, Coventry versus Boreham Wood, Doncaster against Scunthorpe, Gateshead, Luton, Mansfield against Guiseley, Newport against Cambridge, Woking Peterborough, and Wycombe Wanderers against Leatherhead. And there's a Monday night match as well, Slough against Rochdale. And a corner to Burnley, conceded by Imbora. Back with the match now. We had to keep abreast of all the FA Cup scores as well. Burnley are now just less than 4 minutes away from defeat, plus stoppage time. And probably a good 4 minutes at the end of this as the ball comes in towards the 6-yard area, and the header just wide. Vokes winning the header inside the box, just to the left of the penalty box spot. He won it well and just didn't have the accuracy. Otherwise, that's 1-1. Okazaki about to come on for Leicester. Well, Damari Gray will milk the applause, there's no doubt about that. Gets a good standing ovation from the crowd here at the King Power. But it's not been a good afternoon so far if you're a Burnley persuasion. Shinji Okazaki comes on. Kasper Schmeichel with the free kick, or the goal kick I should say. And now it's going to be a test now of Leicester's resolve. Burnley do look a threat from set plays, and Okazaki, who can chip in with some goals himself, has been probably rested up. There are bigger and better battles for him to obviously play, with all due respect to my team. It's all about the squad rotation in these days, and what it's all about a squad. Burnley's squad is now going to be tested to the limits now with injuries and one thing and another. Robbie Brady out now, and Okazaki takes possession, finds Vardy through the centre. Vardy deep inside the Burnley half, strikes with the right foot over the top, or wide of the goal mark anyway. Goal kick, 25 yards from goal, and in the end it's just one of those unfortunate things really. Okazaki knocking it forward, Vardy just getting away from Tarkowski's advances. Meanwhile, offside flag up against Burnley at the other end, which is frustrating, and now Leicester are going to take as long as they possibly dare to waste as much time as they possibly can. And it's getting rather frustrating for one. With Kasper Schmeichel now. We're into the last minute of normal time here at the KP. Schmeichel with a right-footed kick, 3/4 of the way down the track. Header won again. Very disappointing performance from the referee. Burnley have performed admirably, but it might well not count for anything. No points. Claude Perel's side, I think, I'm a little fortunate maybe to be winning on the balance of play. Maybe Sean Nash got it wrong with the substitution to take off the likes of Chris Wood, who could have given a bit more purchase. There's a chance inside the penalty area, in towards the back post. Folks going for it, the header back. There's just nobody in white in the centre, and Leicester with considerable ease hooking it out. Last 10 seconds of normal time. Burnley still fighting for everything. Playhouse as the referee. There was a foul there by the Clarets player. No, and the advantage was sort of wasted. Now Pope kicks away. We're now played the 90 minutes. Now it's up to the linesman, the fourth official. How much stoppage time will there be added? 4 added minutes. Into the penalty area it goes, and in the end, Ashley Barnes just couldn't have enough way with the finish to knock it past Michael. It's gone straight into the Danish goalkeeper's arms. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. And it's relief all round for Leicester City. Apologies if you heard a bit of a banging sound. That wasn't me fisting. It was me. It was my desk. It's a little bit loose at the moment. As Burnley go pouring forward once again. It's just going to be one of those days. Oh, mistake there. Vardy is in. He had to bring him down, Ben Mee. I hope the referee's a little lenient and doesn't just at least books him. Thank God he books him there. He just had to shove him down. He was through there, Vardy. It was his mistake initially. I know Vardy made a lot more of it. Obviously the arms were around him and it was obviously going to be given as a foul, but I think Vardy made a bit more of it than it needed to be. Free kick to Leicester. It was a correct decision, but I'm not sure whether that was a yellow card offence. Okazaki to Mahrez down the right hand side, and back inside to Okazaki with a shot. Deflected. It will fall for Vardy and it will fall for Okazaki, but it will also fall for the Burnley defenders now there. But Leicester in no rush now. Chilwell will just keep possession. Back to Albrighton, back to Chilwell. And the more Leicester City have possession of the ball, the more difficult it will be as Chilwell goes on a counter forward himself. Finds Mahrez on the right hand side. Burnley really need to get possession. Here's Mahrez with a shot. Good save by Nick Pope. Knocked away by Jack Cork. And it's still Leicester City knocking on the door. They nearly had a second then. We've played half of the 4 minutes. We've played 2 minutes of the 4. Here's Albrighton for Leicester. Leicester still going for it, and in all due respect, that's good. That's good football. Here's the shot from Mahrez, wide of the target, but Burnley need to get on with it straight away. Riyad Mahrez with the shot, right footed, just wide of the target this time. It's going to be a disappointing day, I think, for the Clarets. And we've got about 90 seconds left of the game. As Burnley come forward, oh, and it's straight at Schmeichel at the near post. Ashley Barnes. It's just not going to be our day. Just not going to be our day. And we've been in it, and we've battled, and we've been so brave, and I have to say we've been on the end of another tale of what might have been 2 in a week. We've had 1-0 defeats. Doesn't derail our season by any means, but Leicester have been very fortunate. We've given them a game though. That's one positive we can take. Here's Mahrez, well in, and it has to go back to Pope, who kicks long. We've got about 45 seconds to go. Burnley really need to thump this up the field and keep possession if they possibly can. Out comes Schmeichel. He has to just, well, he's done well to keep that in, and that should win Leicester the points now without any doubt at all. 30 seconds to go. And it's looking onerous now for Burnley. Unless they can launch something here now. Long ball forward towards Sam Vokes. Can't flick it on. It'll fall again for a white shot. That's a poor ball from Henrik. What is he doing? 15 seconds to go. That was just sheer stupidity from the Irishman. But here's Bardsley. It still might not all be over yet. Can Bardsley dig out a cross? Yes, he can. Into the penalty area. They have to get the shot in now. Shot deflected. It falls for Schmeichel. And it's just not going to be Burnley's day. We've played the 4 minutes And there goes the full-time whistle, and Burnley, for the second time in 3 matches, have come out on the wrong side of a 1-0 defeat. 7 minutes when the goal was timed from Demarai Gray. Simple finish really, but Burnley should feel hard done by. Again, a catalogue of refereeing decisions went against them. Should Brady have got a penalty before the goal from Gray? That will be argued. There was a few poor decisions from the linesman against the Clarets in the first half as well. And to add to Burnley's woes, poor Robbie Brady was stretchered off with an unfortunate injury, with an unfortunate tangle with Harry Maguire in the first half. Johan Berg Gudmundsson had the golden opportunity to bring Burnley level, but it's a defeat here for the Clarets. Doesn't derail our season by any stretch, but again it feels as if we've worked hard and without any great reward. This was the goal, no chance for Pope after he palmed it away. It was a cross-court shot. I think Ben Mee could have done a bit better, I feel, in trying to head it away. Gray injured himself in the process, but recovered to have a good match himself. But it's an absolute ridiculous result again, and we've worked so hard without any reward. Here's the match stats. Apologies for being a little bit uptight about it, but there we are, 13-14 in Burnley's favour. We had 4 attempts to Leicester's 2. Leicester just shedded it, 52%, 48 on possession. Passing accuracy, Burnley were better in that by 2%, 74-72. Leicester had 10 quarters to 7, but Burnley, I think, were the better side on the day. And we're just going to recap the best moments of the game. This is earlier on as Gray worked it to Ndidi, and then I think this is the goal. I think this is Mahrez. Digs out a good cross. Maybe Ben Mee should have gone to try and knock that away. It was a poor goal for Burnley to concede. No blame attached to Pope, who had to try and palm it, but he... Now, was Gray in an offside position? This is the other... No, he wasn't offside, so the linesman did the right thing. So no complaints about the goal. It was a perfectly legitimate goal, and that was poor defending. But they haven't shown the replay of the Robbie Brady incident when he was tripped in the penalty area, or was a late challenge. Nick Pope made another great save again from Riyad Mahrez, and it just didn't... It wasn't going to be Sean Dyche's day at that particular point. But I think in the second half, Vardy had an opportunity, and so too did Morgan, but Bardsley did well to hook it off the line. And Leicester were then on the front foot. It looked as if it was going to be a cricket. It was going to run away from Burnley at this point. But then Johan Berg Gudmundsson, after a through ball by Jeff Henrik, looked as if we were in for the equaliser, but we just needed it to. It just fell probably to the wrong person on the day, and Kasper Schmeichel was able to make as it turned out, a match-winning save in the end. But Dyche, I have to say, didn't do himself justice tactically by taking off Wood. I think he should have took off Arfield. I think Arfield was poor since when he came on for Brady. I have to say Arfield's poor. And I know I'm his biggest critic, and I know I slag the guy off every other week, but he didn't do enough for me today, Scott Arfield. He just simply didn't, and that's what's cost Burnley in the end. So it's ended 1-0 here to Leicester, but I have to say Leicester were very, very lucky to get 3 points. We'll stay with you for the next 5 minutes. We've got some full times in the FA Cup, but to bring you here, Notts County are through 3-2 against Oxford, Bradford 3-1 against Plymouth, Fleetwood and Hereford have to do it again in a replay. So too do Forest Green and Exeter City. What a game down there. 3-3 it finished. 1-1 between Gillingham and Carlisle. MK Dons still played against Maidstone, but MK Dons more or less through to the 3rd round. Port Vale and Yeovil will have to try again. Morecambe have crashed out 2-0 to Shrewsbury there. Unfortunately, poor season continues, and Stevenage have knocked out Swindon Town by 5 goals to 2. That is what's happened in the FA Cup. In the Premier League, it finished earlier 3-1 to Chelsea over Newcastle, whose season is really curtailing badly. Brighton won Liverpool 5, so a good performance by Liverpool there. Everton back on track, 2-0 winners over Huddersfield. Leicester very lucky to beat Burnley in the game you've just listened to. Stoke have got themselves a crucial victory and plunged Swansea even more into trouble. Watford won, Tottenham won, it finished them. And Alan Pardew's first match as West Brom has ended in a goalless stalemate against Crystal Palace. Arsenal Man United kick off in about half an hour's time. And we'll just cut to the Championship as well before we leave you. Bolton 3, Barnsley 1. So good result there for Bolton. That's a real 6 points at the bottom there. Brentford won the West London derby by 3-1. Derby 1, Burton 0. Ipswich 4, Nottingham Forest 2. Millwall with a big win over Sheffield United, 3-1 down there at the New Den. Preston 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Hull 2. It finished match, I believe, there. And Chris Coleman's honeymoon, well, it's certainly over now at Sunderland. Sunderland 1, Reading 3. Big win for the Yapstan side, but plenty of work for Chris Coleman and his troops still to do. Bristol City and Middlesbrough kick off again at 5:30. So there you are. All the results are there. I'm afraid the Clarets Match Live is again a good goal, but once again, could we have had another penalty before the Demarai Gray goal? Who knows? Tierney had a good game, but not as good as he would have liked, and I think again some poor decisions have cost us, but in the end our poor defending this time cost us a goal, and it cost us the game, I'm afraid. It's finished Leicester City 1, Burnley 0. Thank you very much for joining us. From me, JB, take care. I'll be back with more FIFA videos and everything else soon, and we'll have the FA Cup third round draw, and we have Champions League action as well in the midweek as well. So plenty of good stuff coming up. We'll be back next week with some more weekend with some more live action from the Premier League. But until then, I'm not in a very good mood tonight, and I have to go now and prepare for work and everything else to run my day job. So it's ended in defeat for Burnley. Only third defeat of the season, but still handily placed with 25 points. But a bit of a bitter taste in the mouth today. So Burnley beaten again for the third time this season. Leicester very lucky to win. They weren't at their best. They did need a little bit of luck on their side. They got it in abundance. But Burnley, to add to the defeat, lost Robbie Brady, and we just hope that Robbie Brady injury will be a precaution. I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the next 48 to 72 hours, whatever. But not a good day for Burnley. Lost 1-0, and I've lost Robbie Brady. And then obviously we've had a few bad decisions again go against us, but there we go. Burnley unlucky, Leicester very lucky indeed. But Demarai Gray, I said at the start, on his day he could be a match winner, and he proved what I said at the top of the show by knocking in that 6-minute winner. I hope you very much enjoyed it. Sorry it's ended in defeat for the Clarets, but Leicester, their good run continues, but it wasn't a vintage Leicester City that we all know and expected. But Burnley should think themselves very unlucky they didn't get a point today. Take care, and I'll see you very shortly. See you very soon for another live commentary. See you midweek. Take care. Bye bye.